the original 88.
OG.
Drew Pearson joins the show. Drew, thank you so much. Hut indeed. Welcome to the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. How are you?
I'm good. You guys don't even realize you caught a Hail Mary this morning for me to link up like this, especially with it raining outside and everything. This is a milestone moment for me, okay, to hook up. Right
For
on.
us
Thanks
as
for
well,
having
Drew.
me, guys.
For us as well, to have you on the show is a distinct pleasure. I know you're introducing a draft pick again this year in the NFL draft. How much are you looking forward to the opportunity to getting back on the stage and cutting another WWE promo for the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, this is another opportunity. This is my fourth draft that I get to do on behalf of the Dallas Cowboys. And for a guy that didn't get drafted, came into the league as an undrafted free agent when they had 17 rounds of the draft, 452 players back in 73, and didn't get drafted. Now, I'm noted for the draft. They don't even talk about the Hail Mary anymore. You know, they talk about Drew Pearson's performance at the draft. But we're in Pittsburgh, so no telling what's going to happen with me and the great Tony Dorsett when we present the Cowboys pick. Amen.
Absolutely love it. It's been 9 years since your draft announcement in Philadelphia. Let's run that full for those folks who may not remember what went down in 2017.
What's up,
Amen.
Oh, this is David Akers. This is the wrong one.
We need three. Sorry, three, not four.
We're trolling
We'll get to
in
Akers.
reverse order here.
Reverse troll.
Hang on a
Yeah,
second.
David, y'all left David Akers hanging. He had no chance.
Let's roll the original SOT 3.
There
I
you
have
go.
a SOT 3, guys.
Hang on. Let me see if we can fix this up here in a little bit.
Here, I got it pulled up. I always got it in my
Yeah, why don't you give
My
us a
ring.
rendition of it, Drew?
my ringtone. On behalf of the 5-time world champion Dallas Cowboys. Anyway, I don't even think these current players know that we are a 5-time world champion. You know, they don't count rings; they count dollars.
What was Drew? What was the reaction off stage after you said that in 2017 in front of a room full of mostly Eagles fans?
Oh, it was crazy. Before I did that, you know, when the commissioner announced me coming up next to make the Cowboys selection, the boos started. By the time he came backstage to tell me, you know, to get ready for this, I said, Commissioner, hey, this is no big deal. I'm used to being booed in Philadelphia. So he said, why don't you just say that? Say that, okay? And so I said it, but I didn't expect it to come out that way. You guys know in the business, you know, when the mic is there, we don't have to yell into the mic. The mic will always pick us up. But that didn't matter in that situation. And then when I went back to the green room, all these former players and current players were giving me a standing ovation. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then I had to get escorted out of there. And then the next morning, I left Philadelphia and went back to Dallas. I get on American Airlines flight, and the pilot says, we don't normally do this, but we have Drew Pearson on this flight, and why don't you all stand up, unbuckle your seatbelt, stand up, and give this guy a standing ovation. So I got a standing ovation on my flight heading back to Dallas, which was pretty cool.
So did they have
Pretty
Secret
cool.
Service for you to get out of Philadelphia? How did that work? How did they escort you out of the building?
Yeah, you're laughing, but I had, after the announcement, I had escort take me to my room, and I was hungry. I wanted to go out and get something to eat or have a drink or something. They said, no, you stay in this room, and they had that guy, that escort or that security guy in front of my door the whole night, and then it was time for me to get up to go to the airport. That security guy was there and escorted me right to the airport, right to my gate. And again, you know, I got that standing ovation, which was pretty cool. So a guy that never got drafted is now known for the draft.
It was an all-time moment. Have you workshopped at all what you may have coming in Pittsburgh? I know you don't want to give away the farm here, but you mentioned Dorsett. Have you guys schemed at all with this? Is there something you guys are doing in concert?
He hasn't, but I have, okay? Tony doesn't know what's coming yet, okay? But we're going to have something hopefully little unique. You know, Tony's from Hopewell High School, Aliquippa, went to Pitt. And the one question I have for Tony is, growing up, I know you weren't a Cowboy fan, all right? So this is your opportunity to admit to the whole world that growing up you were a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and the blessing is that you didn't get drafted by the Steelers. You end up getting drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. And I told him also, I escorted you for 99 yards in Minnesota for the longest touchdown in NFL history, but don't expect no escorting tonight, okay? Not tonight.
If he says that, you're going to need another security detail at your hotel in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, long as Mel Blount is not in the area, I'm okay.
So, all right, we do have it now, just so that everybody at home can remember this from 2017, your moment on stage at the NFL Draft in Philadelphia to a bunch of Eagles fans who probably didn't appreciate this too much.
And on behalf of the five-time world champion Dallas Cowboys, Hall of Fame owner Jerry Jones, Gene Jones and the Jones family, Coach Jason Garrett, all the Cowboy players that played before me, that played with me, and played after me.
It was all time.
You know, guys, I wrote that. I wrote that on the flight up there. You know, I'm just going to take advantage of this opportunity to be on national TV. You know, I'm a marketing guy, so I saw this as a great opportunity to promote myself. So I knew what I was going to say, but I had no idea that I would present it or project it that way. And that made the difference in the presentation.
Drew, I wanted to ask you about that because that was before you were inducted into the Hall of Fame. Did you kind of view that moment as an opportunity to say, hey, remember me, put me on those ballots and put me in the Hall?
No, that's a good question, though. No, I didn't use it that way. You know, I have so much respect for the Hall of Fame. You know, I wait my turn. Yeah, I waited 38 years to get in, and that's what you got to do with the Hall. You know, I always talk about Belichick not getting in and all that and feeling sorry for him. Hey, Belichick, wait your turn, okay? This is the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You know, you wait your turn to get in. And all through that process, only one time, I never criticized Hall of Famers going in, but I did criticize the process. Until to this day, guys, I criticize the look at that fro. That's the biggest afro in the Hall of Fame. And if anybody,
what happened to the hair, Drew? It's not there anymore. That fro was next level, man. You had to be proud of that thing in the 70s and 80s, right?
Oh, absolutely. Before the game, I would pick it out so it would stick out the back of my helmet, you know. And guys didn't know that was happening. They just thought that was a fro, but that was provided more projection for me. But that afro in the Hall of Fame is 14 and a half inches. All right? and I was arguing. No, I wanted bigger. They told me that it was going to be. I said I wanted 16, 17, 18 inches to depict my hairstyle. But they weren't going for that. You know, that bus is done in Granbury, Texas. All right? Mm-hmm. And they do each piece of clay. It's amazing how they do that. And it's so impressive how they come close, very close to your depiction of your likeness and presence. So it's pretty cool. But I got it all here. I got it in my car. I drive around with it. HOV lane. I put that baby up there. And I get right through, man. I see that comes. I take it to the club. I wear my jacket. I bring my bus. And everything's good.
Frisco PD is going to pick up Drew Pearson for driving in the HOV lane.
Yeah, that's right. I got something for them too. All right. Amen.
Drew, I see you're rocking the that is the Hall of Fame logo on your vest there. It's I mean,
Yeah,
we've
I
kind
got a
of
whole
witnessed.
wardrobe.
We've witnessed some of, the highs and lows of, your journey into the Hall of Fame. Now that you're there, though, do you feel at peace? Do you feel differently than maybe those 38 years leading up to your induction?
Yeah, I do. And the reason I do is because people look at me differently, you know? And when we get together for Hall of Fame induction weekend, the best part is the Hall of Fame luncheon, with just Hall of Famers in there. All right, no media, none of that press, none of you guys in there. We can't let y'all in. It's just Hall of Famers. And we talk about, what it means to be a Hall of Famer. And the guys that have been Hall of Famers tell the new class what it's going to be like. And you hear that, you say, yeah, right. And then you step outside that room and it starts, okay? You start feeling different because you're a Pro Football Hall of Famer. And then you get back to Dallas, people look at you different. I'm in a Ring of Honor, I'm all decade and everything, but nothing gets the respect, like the Pro Football Hall of Fame when people see you. And so it's pretty cool, and it's something that you never dream about. All the years I played, 100 and some games in the NFL, walking down that tunnel, to step on Texas Stadium field to play that afternoon or that evening or whatever, I would always look to the right to see that Cowboy Ring of Honor and see some of those names. And I always wanted my performance that day to be good enough to one day be in the Cowboy Ring of Honor. I never thought about being a Pro Football Hall of Famer. But I said if I make that, that could be the next step to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So we'll see what happens with that. That's why guys like Harvey Martin, Too Tall Jones, Tony Hill, all these need to be considered for the Ring of Honor. And then that might open up the doors or open up people's eyes to see their accomplishments as a Dallas Cowboys and their accomplishments to the NFL as well. There's the easy touchdown against the Giants.
You mentioned it earlier about Belichick, and I'm curious your thoughts on that in a fuller sense, because nobody knows better than you, few anyway, know better than you about waiting your turn. You had to wait longer than your turn to finally get that call and get that nod as a Hall of Famer and have that bust made of you. When you think about Belichick, when you think about Robert Kraft and the controversy that surrounded that a couple of months ago, what makes you feel like, hey, you can wait a year or 2 or 12 or, what? I mean, I don't think it's going to be that long for Belichick and Kraft, but you lived it more than most ever have. Why do you feel like that's okay for them to, despite their accomplishments, have to wait a year or 2 or whatever it ends up being?
Well, guys, because again, it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. If we had 4 or 5 guys become eligible every year, that'd be something different. But think of the numbers that become eligible every year, quality football players that are probably not going to get the opportunity. The one thing that's holding Belichick out is the fact that the voting process is not transparent. They need to make the voting transparent. Then a guy like Belichick will not have to wait, whatever long he might have to wait. He should be a first ballot. There's no question about that. But the process, one part that I always bring up, and I always get knocked down by Jim Porter and all the guys in the hall, is that we need a vote. We Hall of Famers need to have a vote in this process. And that'll help deal with some of the transparency. And there's nobody's going to protect the Pro Football Hall of Fame more than the players that are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So we need to have a vote, and that would help clear up some of the transparency. And there's no way I would not vote Bill Belichick into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. What about, heck with Belichick. What about Darren Woodson, okay?
Yeah.
He's been a finalist, maybe 10, 12, 15 times, and still hasn't get in. But do you hear any complaints coming out of Darren Woodson's mouth? No. Because we had the conversation. I said, Darren, I know you're disappointed. I know you should be in there. And you know you should be in there. But wait your turn. Wait your turn. Because once you get in and you go to that Hall of Fame luncheon, you don't want to step into that room where you criticize other guys that got in ahead of you. So just wait your turn. and that's what I did. And like the Boys to Men, I was waiting on bended knees, bended knees. I was praying, y'all. I was praying hard. I ain't wore a cross out. See, I got a cross on. I wear it now because I'm good.
I feel like that's as good a segue as any, so I might as well rip this Band-Aid off. Let's talk about the Hail Mary
Minnesota.
play. No, okay, so I want to set this up a little bit. I grew up in a split household. My mom is a Vikings fan. My dad is a Cowboys fan. So you can imagine you're at the center of a lot of controversy in my household. So I'm not trying to cast aspersions in any way.
Guess who's coming to dinner? Why don't you invite me to dinner sometime? We'll straighten this out.
Honestly, I'm not sure how that would go for anyone involved. But I want to talk first about this play specifically to set up the Hail Mary, which everyone seems to forget. It was a 4th and forever. You make an incredible catch along the sidelines, and then you get kicked after. Can you take us through this whole scenario?
Yeah, we had a 4th and 17 where we needed to get a first down. Roger hit me on the sideline for 22. But all the plays in this drive leading to the Hail Mary, I caught 4 passes in the drive for 91, had no catches before then. But in that situation, Roger would always say, Drew, what do you got? We didn't have time to have plays sent in from Coach Landry in a 2-minute situation, but Coach Landry had confidence. He had coached Roger Staubach up to handle that situation. But when Roger got in that 2-minute situation, it was always, what do you got, Drew? What do you got? And we got bogged down. The late John Fitzgerald got hurt. We had to put Kyle Davis in there, #1 draft pick from Oklahoma University, and that's probably his problem in the beginning because he went to OU and not TU. But anyway, the late John Fitzgerald, who just passed away, God rest his soul, had to come out the game. But we got bogged down with that 4th and 17, and Roger says, let's get enough for the first down, run a post corner on Nate Wright. We knew in our film study the guy to go after in these situations was Nate Wright, the cornerback. Because even though they played a zone defense, if you came in his area, he picked you up man. So the counter routes would work on Nate Wright as opposed to Bobby Bryant on the other side. So Roger said, run a post corner. And the last thing Roger said when we broke the huddle, he said, make sure you get enough for the first down. And Roger was on the far hash when he threw this ball. And I ran that post pattern and came out 22 yards later, and that ball was coming. You know, I had to catch it because if I don't catch it, I die. I die.
Well, the Minnesota security guard's about to kill you if you didn't die on the play.
I know. This dude right there is a hero in Minnesota. NFL Films did a football life story on this guy. And they asked me to go to Minnesota to meet this guy. I went to his house. Of course, they had to pay me a lot of money to do it. But anyway, I went to his house, and this guy is just Mr. Minnesota Viking fan. All right? And to this day, he's a hero in Minnesota for kicking me on the sideline. Of course, I didn't feel that. And being the brother that I am, if I did feel it, I would have jacked him up. I would have knocked I'm kidding, but I didn't feel it. We get back to the huddle. Roger says, Drew, what do you got? I said, man, I got no breath. Let's run something to the other side. We ran that little swing pass to Preston Pearson, and he got caught up in that sorry turf we were playing on. Lost focus, ended up dropping the football. We get back to the huddle, 32 seconds. Again, Roger said, Drew, what do you got? I said, let's take some shots in the end zone. Line me up on the right side again, Nate Wright. And this time, instead of running the post corner on Nate Wright, run a turn in and then take off. And the only other guy he told to go out, because we needed maximum protection, the only other guy he told to go out on the other side was Golden Richards, the late, great Golden Richards, to run a post pattern down the left side of the field so Roger could pump him and then bring it back to me. And everybody says I interfered. Yeah, I hit Nate Wright. I'm sorry. I tried to knock the crap out of him. I tried to knock his helmet off. You know, we're playing a highly intensified playoff situation. I ain't worrying about him. I'm worrying about that football. I'm trying to make a play. And I'm making a play there. You could see the orange come out on the field. You see that orange object? I thought it was a flag. but that orange object, when it hit the ground, it kept rolling. And I knew flags don't roll. So that had to be a touchdown.
Well, I mean, a beer
And
bottle
I backed
thrown a
into
little
the
after
end
that,
zone.
too.
And the reason I threw that ball in the stands, guys, is because that night before the game, my roommate was Harvey Martin. And I said, Harvey, if I catch the game-winning touchdown in this game, I'm going to throw the ball into the stands. Because that was so taboo back then.
You called your
And
shot.
if you
Yeah.
threw the ball, right, if you threw the ball in the stands back then, you got fined $150. All right? And we couldn't afford that, all right? You know what my signing bonus was when I came in the NFL? $150, okay? I was still paying taxes on that. But anyway, that was the play. Nate went down. He's crying. Paul Krause came over late. And again, I said, if I do this, I'm going to throw that ball in the stands. And that's why I reeled around away from Goldman Richards and threw that ball up over the scoreboard into the parking lot. And I don't know if anybody ever recovered it, but I certainly didn't.
It'd be worth a pretty penny
Touchdown
these days.
Dallas.
Yeah, I was
You
going
know,
to say.
back in the day, I used to sell headwear, you know, and part of my business was operating out of Hopkins, Minnesota, right outside of Minneapolis. Went up there for a business meeting in the month of January. Cold as heck, all right? I get off the plane. I'm flagging down the cab to go to the office. I stick my head in the cab. The cab driver says, "Are you Drew Pearson?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I ain't taking you nowhere." Right? And so he radioed down the 5 cabs down the line. He said, "That's Drew Pearson. Don't take him anywhere." So they still hate me up in Minnesota. And
I can
I'm
vouch for that.
proud of that.
I would say just the fact that
Thank
you
you, sir.
copped to pushing off, I think is going to make Andrew Seeley's mom really happy. The fact
No,
that
I
you admitted to
didn't
that
push
piece of it.
See,
No,
this
we
is the
hit.
thing.
We
This-
could-
right, there's
it was no push. It was a contact.
See,
Okay.
We're playing
in
football,
indifferent
guys.
contact I've gotten the most on.
We're
this,
not
yeah.
playing tennis. This was not golf. This was football.
This is a quote
Sorry,
you had to Mike
Minnesota.
Florio. Yeah.
I'll
Basically,
send you a couple hats.
I'm not sure that'll smooth things over for the 75 team.
Little Hail Mary hats.
But no, like this is the controversy, though, right? Right, where Vikings
Right.
fans are not mad they've lost. No offense to Vikings fans, I've dealt with them a lot. They're used to failure. It's not about that part of it. It's about the controversy surrounding the push-off.
Yeah.
That's the issue with it.
Yeah.
So if it had just been a wide open situation, I like had you just caught a wide open ball, I don't think.
I don't know how wide open you can be. It's man to man. We're running down the field neck and neck. Two guys. There was nobody else in the picture. We're playing football. This is a playoff situation. National TV. Come on, man. I ain't thinking about Nate Wright. I'm thinking about that football. If you're going to call the play, call it. If you're not, touchdown Dallas. That's all I'm saying.
no
You
flag
Viking
on the
fans-
field.
It's not Drew's fault. I
No,
feel like
yeah.
Minnesota should be mad at the refs.
You
not-
Viking
were.
fans need
They
to
were
get
mad.
over it, man. It's over 50 years ago, isn't it?
It's about how
Get
long
over it,
the
man.
Cowboys
It's
last
over
won a Super
50
Bowl.
years
If
ago.
that if that play happened today, what would they throw a flag?
No, there's no deliberate push. You saw a guy go down. You didn't see no arm extension like Michael Irvin did all the time, pushing and all that kind of stuff, creating that separation. No, you didn't see any of that. So, it's amazing how Cowboy fans say, "Great play, good catch, Drew, way to go." And Vikings say, "Hey, you pushed off, you cheated," and all that. So that's what keeps the play alive, that controversy. So, anyway, touchdown Dallas. What can I say?
The one and only Drew Pearson. Touchdown Dallas, the Hail Mary, the draft moments, and certainly more to come on Thursday night. Drew, thank you so much. We are looking forward to what you
Hold
got
on, one
in
more
store.
thing for that Viking fan. One more thing, guys, for that Viking fan. Can you see that? That's a Super Bowl ring. Since y'all never got to see one.
Drew Pearson, sinking
That-
it in
that's
right
my
as we
last
wrap
word.
things up. Drew, thank you so much. We appreciate it very, very much.
Hey,
Your second
anytime,
ever
and
guest.
good luck, guys. Good luck on the show, man. Good luck on the show. Right on.
Drew, thank you again. All right, much more to come on the Ultimate Dollar. We could have talked with him for the whole hour. That was so cool.